The modern world demands constant movement, but your financial health requires a different kind of strength, the ability to stand still. Every dollar earned in your 20s is currently caught in a current, pulled toward impulse, inflation, and hidden costs. Without a fixed point, you are merely drifting. Financial security is not a distant goal reached after years of labor. It is a foundation you lay today, brick by brick, to stop the drift. It begins with the decision to reclaim your autonomy from the volatility of your surroundings. When you move your money into a high-yield savings account, you are doing more than chasing a percentage. You are building a wall. You are creating a space where your capital remains untouchable by the whims of daily life, yet ready for the moment the unexpected strikes. This is the first movement in a lifelong strategy of control. You stop reacting to the world and start dictating the terms of your own stability. By securing your emergency fund now, you anchor your future, transforming potential panic into predictable, quiet resolve. The chaos of the market continues to churn, but your foundation remains unmoved. Yet, most of your capital remains trapped in a system designed to keep it dormant. Look at your standard checking account. It is a holding pen, not a growth engine. Banks rely on the silence of your balance, counting on you to leave your money in a place where it earns nothing. While you sleep, inflation acts like a silent tax, quietly shaving away the true value of every dollar you have worked to save. You might see the same number in your app, but that number buys less today than it did yesterday. It is a slow, invisible erosion. Every month you leave your money there, you are effectively paying the bank for the privilege of letting your wealth stagnate. This is the trap of traditional banking. They provide the convenience of a debit card while keeping your growth at zero. You are losing ground every single second your money sits idle. The convenience is a distraction, a thin veil covering the reality of a depreciating asset. To continue is to accept that your financial power will inevitably shrink. The time to break this cycle is now, before the cumulative loss becomes impossible to ignore. You need an environment that works as hard as you do, not one that waits for your capital to wither. The solution is not found in the same institution that keeps your capital dormant. It exists in a different category altogether: the high-yield savings account. Think of this as the engine your money has been waiting for. Unlike the standard accounts that offer negligible interest, these are precision-engineered for growth. They are designed to expand your balance through higher annual percentage yields, turning your passive savings into a compounding force. This is your secret weapon. When you shift your funds here, you stop the invisible erosion. You move your capital from a holding pen into a growth environment where every dollar is tasked with working for you. It is a fundamental realignment of your financial strategy. You are no longer just storing money. You are positioning it to capture value that was previously lost to stagnation. This move changes your trajectory immediately. You gain a tool that respects the effort you put into earning your income. It requires a decision to relocate your resources, but the result is a measurable increase in your financial potential. You are taking control of the mechanism itself, ensuring that your wealth has the capacity to outpace inflation rather than succumb to it. This is the first step toward an active, deliberate financial life. The secret behind these higher yields is not magic, but a radical shift in operational structure. Traditional banks burn billions maintaining physical branches, glass-fronted offices, and vast armies of staff. That cost is passed directly to you in the form of pathetic interest rates. But online banks operate differently. They have stripped away the expensive brick-and-mortar footprint entirely. By existing only in the digital space, they slash their overhead and they pass those massive savings directly into your pocket. You are essentially cutting out the middleman of expensive real estate and legacy infrastructure. This is the insider advantage. You are not losing service. You are gaining efficiency. These institutions understand that in a digital economy, a physical lobby is a redundant expense that hinders growth. They redirect those funds into the annual percentage yield, rewarding you for your digital literacy. When you choose an online-only model, you are aligning your capital with an institution that prioritizes returns over vanity. It is a smarter, leaner way to bank. You are no longer subsidizing their utility bills with your interest. You are letting the technology work in your favor. It is a precise, calculated move that turns their lack of physical presence into your greatest financial gain. Now, consider the primary function of this capital. It is your emergency shield. Life in your 20s is unpredictable.
A sudden car repair, a medical bill, or an unexpected loss of income can strike without warning. Without a buffer, these events force you into high-interest debt, trapping you in a cycle of repayment that drains your future potential.
By parking your emergency fund in this high-yield account, you build a physical barrier against that chaos. You are not just saving, you are buying peace of mind. When an unexpected expense hits, you do not scramble for high-interest loans or credit card advances. You simply draw from the reserve you have methodically constructed. This turns a potential disaster into a manageable transaction. It removes the panic that leads to poor financial decisions. You are no longer vulnerable to the whims of bad timing. You have created a wall between your long-term goals and the short-term shocks that derail your peers. This is the foundation of your financial security. You are maintaining a liquid, accessible defense that allows you to handle the unexpected with clinical precision. It is the difference between surviving a crisis and being broken by one. You are now prepared to face the unpredictable without compromising your stability. Beyond the defensive shield, your account performs a critical offensive maneuver. It battles the silent erosion of inflation. Every day that your money sits stagnant in a standard checking account,
its purchasing power diminishes, prices rise, and the value of your currency fades like ink in the sun.
This is the hidden tax on the inactive. By utilizing a high-yield account, you are not merely storing wealth, you are actively countering this decay. You are forcing your capital to track closer to the cost of living. When interest rates compound, they generate new units of value that partially offset the rising price of goods and services. You are no longer watching your resources lose their grip on the market. You are keeping pace.
If you keep your emergency funds in a low-interest vessel, you are losing money every single month in real terms.
But here, you reclaim that ground. You are taking control of the clock. This is the difference between letting your future shrink and keeping your options open. Every dollar you earn retains more of its utility because you have placed it where it can fight back. You are actively maintaining your ability to buy what you need when you need it, ensuring that your 20s are defined by accumulation rather than silent loss. With your defensive perimeter established, you must now shift your focus from merely holding ground to actively expanding your territory. Savings accounts stop the bleeding, but they do not build empires. To truly secure your future, you need to transition from preservation to long-term wealth accumulation. This is where the horizon shifts. You are moving beyond the static nature of a bank balance and into the kinetic energy of the broader economy. Imagine owning a tiny, permanent stake in the collective output of the largest companies on the planet. This is the promise of index funds. You are no longer betting on the success of a single business, which could vanish overnight. Instead, you are hitching your trajectory to the historical upward march of the market itself. This is not about guessing which stock will spike tomorrow. It is about harvesting the steady, relentless growth of the entire system over decades. When you start this process in your 20s, you engage the most powerful force in finance, compounding interest. You are planting seeds that will grow into a substantial, self-sustaining forest while you focus on your career and your life. It is the transition from working for your money to having your money work for you. The path forward is no longer a narrow trail of pennies, but a wide, proven road toward lasting prosperity. Most people approach the market like a casino, searching for the one golden ticket that will grant them overnight riches. They spend hours reading charts, obsessing over news cycles,
and losing sleep over the daily volatility of individual companies. This is not a strategy. It is a high-stakes gamble that almost always ends in frustration.
You must reject this noise. The passive approach is the antidote to the anxiety of constant market watching. By choosing to track a broad index, you step off the treadmill of speculation. You stop trying to outsmart the collective wisdom of the global economy and start aligning yourself with its inevitable, long-term expansion. There is profound confidence in knowing your wealth is not tied to the success or failure of a single CEO or a quarterly earnings report. Instead, you hold a diversified slice of the entire engine. You are not guessing, you are participating. This shift removes the pressure to be a genius and replaces it with the certainty of a proven, systematic process. You are no longer chasing the market. You are riding it. This is the moment you reclaim your time and your mental clarity, trading the exhaustion of active trading for the steady, quiet growth of a passive, disciplined portfolio. When you hold an index fund, you are doing more than just moving numbers on a screen. You are acquiring a tangible slice of the world around you. Look at the products you use every day, the technology that powers your workspace, and the energy that lights your home. Through your investment, you own a piece of the corporations that provide these essential services. This is a profound shift in perspective. You stop being a spectator to the global economy and become a direct participant in its output. There is a distinct pride in realizing that as these massive entities innovate, scale, and deliver value, your own net worth moves in lockstep with their success. You are no longer just a consumer of the economy. You are a stakeholder in its advancement. This ownership creates a bridge between your personal effort and the broader progress of industry. Every time a new facility opens or a breakthrough product reaches the market, you have a stake in that achievement. It turns the abstract concept of wealth into a reality grounded in the actual productivity of the world. You are effectively tethered to the growth of human ingenuity, turning the daily grind of the economy into the foundation of your own independence. This is the quiet satisfaction of being a builder, rather than just a witness to progress. Individual businesses are inherently fragile. They stumble, they face lawsuits, they lose their competitive edge overnight. If your entire financial future rests on the health of one company, you are living on a knife edge. The market is a graveyard of giants that once seemed invincible. This reality is why you must isolate your wealth from the collapse of any single entity. By spreading your contributions across hundreds of companies, you create an internal safety net. When one firm falters and loses value, the others continue to operate, innovate, and generate profit. The loss is absorbed by the collective strength of the group, preventing a local failure from becoming a personal catastrophe. This is not just about avoiding loss. It is about building a foundation that can withstand the inevitable shocks of the economic cycle. You stop reacting to headlines about failing enterprises because your exposure to any one disaster is negligible. You trade the paralyzing fear of a single company's bankruptcy for the durable, long-term resilience of the broader economy. This structure provides a quiet, unshakable sense of security. You are not betting on a winner. You are betting on the continuous, relentless momentum of the entire system. Your peace of mind comes from knowing that your survival is no longer dependent on the fate of any one board of directors. Now, turn your attention to the silent ledger of your reputation. Credit utilization. This is not merely a number. It is a rigid boundary that dictates your future access to capital. The golden rule is simple but unforgiving. Keep your balances below 30% of your total available limit at all times. Think of this as a structural integrity check for your financial standing. When you push your spending toward the maximum limit, you signal instability to every lender in the system. They watch these ratios with cold, automated precision. A single month of overutilization can trigger a drop in your score that takes months of flawless behavior to recover. It is a constant, quiet pressure that demands your attention every time you swipe a card. You are not just buying goods. You are performing a test of discipline under the watchful eyes of financial institutions. Crossing that 30% threshold is an immediate red flag that suggests you are living beyond your means, regardless of your intent. To maintain a perfect score, you must treat your credit limit as a wall you never approach. Every transaction becomes a calculation. Every statement balance is a confirmation of your reliability. You are building a record, and that record is the only thing standing between you and the high interest rates that trap the reckless. Every time you initiate a transaction, you are not just exchanging currency. You are feeding data into a machine that never sleeps. Lenders are watching, their algorithms parsing your habits with a cold, detached intensity. They are looking for patterns. They are searching for the slightest deviation in your behavior that suggests a lack of self-control. This is the weight of being judged. Every purchase is a test, a binary signal of your reliability. You swipe, and the system records your distance from the limit. You pay, and the system records your timing. There is no anonymity here. Your financial history is a mirror held up to your character, and it reflects every moment of hesitation or indulgence. You must move with the precision of a clock. If you falter, if you allow a balance to linger or a limit to be breached, the machine marks you. It does not care about your intentions or the circumstances of your month. It only cares about the numbers you leave behind. You are building a reputation that precedes you, a digital ghost that will either open doors to massive future capital or slam them shut when you need them most. You act under this constant, silent gaze because you know that today's choices are the foundation of tomorrow's leverage. Now, witness the ignition. For years, the index funds moved with the sluggish pace of a glacier, every contribution feeling like a drop in an endless ocean. Then, the math shifted. The compounding interest reached a critical mass, and the trajectory bent upward with terrifying speed. You look at the account balance, and the numbers are no longer just your own deposits. They are the output of a machine you built that now runs on its own power. This is the explosion. Every single dollar you invested in your 20s has spent decades multiplying, and now, the growth alone exceeds what you could possibly save in a year. The portfolio is not just a pile of money. It is a force of nature. It creates its own momentum, pulling in market gains that dwarf your initial sacrifices. You watch the balance climb, not through added labor, but through the relentless, ticking clock of time. The small, consistent contributions of your youth have transformed into a massive, stable foundation. The curve is vertical. The risk of any single failure has been neutralized by the sheer scale of the holdings. You are no longer chasing wealth. You are observing the inevitable result of a system that has finally begun to feed itself. The compounding is absolute. The calendar turns, and the cycle demands its due. You face the statement balance, a snapshot of every choice made over the last 30 days. This is the moment of truth. You do not carry the debt into the next month. You do not wait for the minimum payment to save your cash flow. You clear it, every single cent. You navigate the interface, confirm the transfer, and watch the number reset to zero. This action is a pulse, a rhythmic beat of financial discipline that proves your mastery over impulse. It is not just about moving funds. It is about severing the tether to high-interest traps. You feel the friction of the decision, the urge to keep the liquid cash for a fleeting desire, and you crush it. You prioritize the record. You prioritize the score. By keeping the balance well below 30% of your limit, you signal to the entire system that you are the architect of your own limits, not a victim of them. The account clears. The slate is wiped clean. You have successfully navigated another month without surrender. This is the engine of your long-term viability, powered by the cold, calculated choice to pay in full. You are not just managing credit. You are sharpening your own reliability, turning the potential for debt into a tool for your own leverage. The numbers on your screen are more than just a score. They are a gateway. You run the simulation. A mortgage application, a business loan, a sudden expansion of your personal reach. The difference between a high score and an average one is not a rounding error. It is a landslide. You look at the interest rates, the raw, brutal cost of borrowing, and the reality hits like a physical impact. A single percentage point difference on a long-term loan does not just skim the surface. It strips away tens of thousands of dollars from your future. That is the cost of a decade of bad habits. That is the price of a single year of missed payments. You see the massive drain on your potential wealth, and it leaves a bitter taste. You realize that every month of discipline, every time you kept that balance low, was not just about avoiding debt. It was about actively protecting your future capital. You are effectively buying your own freedom from the bank's profit margin. The math is undeniable. A strong score is a tool that pays for itself with every passing year. You calculate the savings again, and the logic is absolute. By mastering your credit now, you have secured a permanent, compounding advantage that will keep those thousands of dollars in your own pocket, rather than handing them away to interest. Credit is the guardrail, but the budget is the engine. Without a framework, your income is a sieve. It flows in, and it vanishes into the cracks of uncounted, minor purchases. You stop guessing. You implement the 50-30-20 rule. 50% for needs, 30% for wants, 20% for the future. This is not a suggestion. It is a confrontation. You pull your bank statements and lay them bare. Every coffee, every subscription, every impulse purchase you justified as insignificant now stares back at you. You see the drift. You see the leaks. The system strips away the comfort of ignorance, forcing you to label every single dollar. You realize that money does not just disappear. It is spent on choices you are not even tracking. By forcing these habits into a rigid category, you destroy the excuse of the afterthought. You are no longer drifting. You are auditing. You are making the hard decision to prioritize your own security over the convenience of a blind lifestyle. This is the moment you stop letting your money happen to you and start directing exactly where it lands. You reclaim the power to shape your own financial architecture, one categorized transaction at a time. You look closer at the list. A subscription you never used, a digital service you forgot, a recurring fee for a convenience that provides zero value. These are the leaks. You select the first one and hit cancel.
The screen flashes. Confirmation received. You feel the immediate release of pressure. You do it again and again.
Each click is a reclamation of your own labor. That money was vanishing into the void of thoughtless habit, but now it has a destination. You take the total of those wasted dollars and calculate the annual impact. It is not just spare change. It is a significant contribution to your future wealth. You feel the shift in your posture. The money that used to slip through your fingers is now pooling, ready to be deployed.
You are not just saving. You are starving the waste and feeding the ambition.
Every dollar you stop from leaking is a brick in the foundation of your long-term security. You look at the balance. It is no longer just a number. It is a growing reserve of potential. You have successfully plugged the holes in your financial vessel. The drift has stopped. The energy you spent justifying those tiny, meaningless expenses is now focused on your goals. You are in command, and for the first time, you see exactly how much you can build when you stop the waste. Now, you elevate the habit. Saving is no longer the remainder of your paycheck. It is the first bill you pay. Before rent, before groceries, before any want, you move your 20%. You set an automated transfer. The moment the deposit hits your account, the portion for your future is stripped away and secured.
It is gone before you have the chance to negotiate with yourself.
This turns saving into a non-negotiable expense, just like electricity or water. You stop viewing your balance as a pool for spending and start viewing it as a vault you are legally required to fill. When you treat your future self as your most important creditor, the entire dynamic changes. You are no longer reacting to the month's end. You are dictating the terms from the start. You watch the savings grow with a clinical eye.
There is no room for debate. There is no maybe next month. The system runs on its own.
and you simply adapt your lifestyle to what remains. You have transitioned from the victim of your cash flow to its architect. You command the flow, you set the priorities, and you secure the outcome. Your financial life is no longer a series of accidents. It is a calculated, inevitable climb toward your goals. The rush of the initial overhaul fades, leaving behind a steady, rhythmic discipline. You stand in the quiet efficiency of a life you have built with intent. These are not just tasks to be checked off. They are the architecture of your future. You look at your accounts, your investments, and your credit. They are aligned, working in concert to build a momentum that will carry you through the decades. You realize that the complexity of your life will increase. Your salary will grow, your obligations will multiply, and the world will present new, sophisticated challenges. But you are ready. You have already mastered the fundamentals. You know how to categorize the needs, how to leverage the market, and how to command your own credit. This is the ultimate advantage. You are not just managing money, you are cultivating a state of readiness. Every decision you make today reinforces the structure that will support you when the stakes are higher. You feel the weight of this preparation. It is solid, it is proven. You have replaced the uncertainty of your early 20s with a clear, reliable system. The chaos of financial unpredictability is gone, replaced by a calm, calculated resolve. You are no longer chasing your goals, you are building the machine that delivers them. The work is done. The systems you built are now the bedrock of your daily reality. You no longer labor to maintain the structure. The structure sustains you. Because you mastered the flow of your resources early, the frantic pace of survival has vanished. In its place is a profound, quiet agency. You wake up each day knowing your foundation is secure. You have traded the anxiety of the unknown for the clarity of a path you laid yourself.
This is the ultimate objective, not just wealth, but the autonomy to choose how you spend your time. When you reach this level of mastery, you are no longer a servant to your monthly obligations.
You are the architect of your own schedule, your own risks, and your own legacy. The discipline you forged in your 20s remains, but it is now effortless, an ingrained habit that operates in the background of your life. You look forward, not with worry, but with the cold, hard certainty of a person who has already proven their capability. You are ready for what comes next, because you have already mastered the hardest part. You have secured your freedom. The machine is running. Your future is yours to command. You stand on the solid ground you created, and you move forward with absolute, unshakable intent.